So my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 96,700 US dollars. We have finally broken out of our up range and are getting closer to the target of 98 or 100,000 US dollars. Will that possibly happen today? Today at 2:30 p.m. we have the non-farm payrolls, macabres, and the average hourly wages coming up. And we definitely need to take a closer look at the heat map again because liquidity in the market is starting to get a bit thin. Whether this might be the last breakout for, well, the next few weeks, we will definitely examine that in today's update video. Before we start, as always, feel free to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course activate the bell so you get notified whenever there's a new video on this channel. Also feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You can find the link for that for free in the video description below. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade all of this, feel free to use my partner exchange Binks. The link for that is also in the video description. And yes, you support the channel a bit by doing so. But yes, Bitcoin, as mentioned, at 96,700, 96,800 US dollars. We finally got our breakout yesterday. If we take a look at it on a 1 hour time frame, it was a successive pump upwards without any significant news or anything like that coming out. The earnings were relatively good. So at the moment, everything looks like we should slowly but surely capture the liquidity in this area, which we've been discussing over the past few days, up here to our wick at just under 99,000 US dollars. If we look at the funding rates, they are still in the negative range. So that means there is still massive shorting against it. And that is ultimately exactly what we see here on the heat map. The heat map indicates 98,000, 99,000 US dollars on the 3-day view. If we go down to the smaller time frames, we also see 98,000 and the 100,000 US dollars as naturally psychologically important levels, which are clearly mentioned here. And these are also the price targets for me. I don't believe it will go higher. If we break above this red box now, meaning break above the 100,000 US dollars, the whole situation looks completely different in my opinion, because then we could possibly even prepare OXO for a new all-time high. But only then, as I said, if we break through this resistance upwards. Otherwise, we still shouldn't be too bullish. We are currently in our golden pocket, meaning from our all-time high to our low, which we formed at 74,000 US dollars. We are exactly in the middle right now. We will also take a look at the stock markets in a moment. They are quite similar. That means for everyone who wants to short right now, personally, it would still be too risky for me. I would really wait for the 98,000 to 100,000 US dollars first. And of course also for the non-farm and payrolls at 2:30 today. Otherwise, we would have a risk of about just under 3% here. In my opinion, that is definitely manageable. Should we indeed push into this price range of 98,000 US dollars? Otherwise, yes, it's relatively quiet. Not much has really happened in the Bitcoin time frame. As I said, wait, I'll show you again very briefly at 2:30. The unemployment rate, also important, of course. Non-farm with payrolls, which means employment outside of agriculture, and the average hourly wages, also an indicator for that. Inflation, yes, no, and things like that. And of course, the overall economic situation. So it will be really exciting again today at 2:30. And then we'll see how decisive the news will be, whether we continue to see a pump, which I still expect, up to a maximum of 100K, and whether we ultimately get this turnaround downwards with this dump towards 85 or, yes, 84,000 on US dollars. Everything is still possible for sure. It definitely remains exciting for now. Let's move over to the altcoins. Ethereum also managed a slight breakout yesterday, but honestly, it has fallen back towards Bitcoin again. So if we compare Bitcoin is still at a very, very high level, hasn't had a setback yet. Ethereum, on the other hand, is significantly weaker, to be honest. 1,835 US dollars. Here too, of course, there is still the possibility. The target levels were always around 1,880 to a maximum of 1,960. That remains the case for now, unless we even fill the upper inefficiency here. Then we could even rise a bit higher towards 2,000 US dollars. For that to happen, Bitcoin must definitely rise towards 100,000 US dollars. That means Bitcoin could still rise by about 5% here. Ethereum then has roughly close to about 10% room to move upwards. But as I said yesterday, I I would never short here at the lower edge because the risk is significantly too high that we would have to make 6 or 7% just to somehow enter the trade. And in my opinion, it's not worth it at all. Risk management with 2 or 3% makes much more sense, or you enter this position in stages. Otherwise, as I said, not much has changed here. Breakout from the range that we are currently testing. Otherwise, relatively quiet. I mentioned yesterday that Solana doesn't really look like it's in a range. By now, you can interpret it a bit differently if we take a quick look at the last few days. It has now found its own range, but at the moment, there's really nothing happening here either. There might be a lack of capital or external impulses here, but it's simply not an altcoin season. And when altcoins pump, it's only briefly when Bitcoin pumps as well, and then that's it. So we can also skip further outlooks here for now. Let's move over to stocks. That is the traditional markets. The DEX was closed yesterday. Now we are waiting to see how today will turn out, whether we might even go short. Before the weekend, we'll have to see, because the Dow Jones is still on its way towards the golden pocket. Wait, where do we have it? Here, S&P 500. Same scenario, now at the golden pocket. And that's what I meant earlier with Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, we are just about to, or are already in the golden pocket, plus we still have a bit of potential to go up to 100K. In the traditional markets, we are in the middle of the golden pocket, but we also have a little bit of room. So this is actually make or break decision time. Either we break above here again, everything is bullish, everything is good, we head towards a new all-time high, and stay above it. That would ultimately be variant B, I would say, where we see an overshooting all-time high. This is also the variant we still have in mind for Bitcoin, that we might see a double top, a massive double top at 120K possibly, and then only see the crash. Those are my two alternatives at the moment. Either we get blocked here and go completely to a new low, or we really get a new all-time high here, also initially in the traditional markets. But this will only be decided in the next few days, possibly even next week. Let's move over to gold. Gold, narrowly, you missed our target initially, but that doesn't mean anything yet. It was essentially the same scenario last time as well. Also there, it briefly turned and then we went down again. So I will continue to keep an eye on this as well. We were up to $3,200. The target remains $3,170. So nothing has been done here either for now. If it happens during the day that we go down again, there will definitely be a new long option for us. And last but not least, the euro against the US dollar is also currently doing little. The target has still not been reached, continuing consolidation, meaning the dollar remains stable. Of course, everything could change this afternoon with the numbers. Otherwise, yes, that's it from my side. We might hear from each other again tomorrow, depending on whether anything happens at all. Because as I said, if there's simply no movement, then there's nothing for us to look at. But definitely this afternoon, or rather at noon today, XAP, Ripple update, as well as, of course, every Friday. So definitely stay tuned. We'll definitely hear from each other again later, as I said. And otherwise, I wish you a nice, relaxing day. Enjoy the weather, and we'll hear from each other again later. Until then, bye-bye, and as always, stay cool, guys.